episode 1 of Lime Talk, a podcast, a fan podcast of the podcast Limetown. And so today we're going to be digging through episode 1, which is entitled What We Know. And it's a little different than the other, the forthcoming 3 podcasts of Limetown. And so I thought what we'd do is go through a summary, do a little who's who, important characters that we meet along the way, go through some valuable information, and then some questions that I have about the episode. So I didn't introduce myself.
What's your name?
My name is Eli.
I'm Kirsten.
How's it going?
Good.
All right. So, without any further hullabaloo, let's dig into the summary. So the first thing we hear on this episode, entitled "What We Know," is kind of like a news story-ish, clips of like news station stories about a sort of like enclosed community. Which to me, the first thing that jumped out to me in my mind was that it's very like Waco-ish style sort of community, sort of cut off from the rest of the world. And whatever the community is, obviously called Limetown, there's an emergency going on inside, and nobody's really sure what it is. They make the call, and there's security standing outside the gates of Limetown for 3 days. No one's allowed in or out. And then they walk away, and when the outside world gets a chance to go in, everybody is gone, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that stood out to me is that there's caves in, on, below, near the facility that I feel like that's going to be important as to how they escaped.
Yeah, that's my...
Well, they disappeared. Nobody knows where they are, but there's no remnants of them. So I think the caves have something to do with it. And then after we find out about all this, we wind up meeting our main character of sorts, whose name is Leah Haddock. And apparently she was 17 years old when the Limetown tragedy occurred, which I think will come to bear down the road. The fact that she was 17, I don't know what that has to do with anything yet, but I feel like it's worth mentioning here. And that she also has an uncle, Dr. Emil Haddock, who was working at Limetown at the time. And his name is spelled E-M-I-L. And so if you spell it backwards, that's Lime. So I, with pretty much everyone else on the internet, think that this is important in some way. But you had a theory about this.
Well, it's not really... Well, I guess it's a theory. Yeah, just that Lime Haddock, kind of like red herring. But...
So you think that for everyone out there who's looking for clues, this is one, but probably means nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I fully subscribe to that, but it could be one way to go.
I really hope that they don't resort to like backwards
kind of
things.
Cheeky.
Yeah.
Like
the whole thing was because he spelled his name backwards.
Yeah.
But that will come to bear later, maybe, hopefully. So it's like 303 and change people missing from the community. Do we have an exact number on it?
Yes, 327.
Okay, so we have 327 men, women, and children missing. Their whereabouts are unknown for 10 years. 10 years, after this emergency, we find out that no one has ever been heard of, except for one person died, and he is the lead researcher, Dr. Oscar Totem, and he was the lead researcher at Limetown, and apparently they burned him alive. They found his dental remains on the site.
I also have a theory about that.
What is your theory about that?
Well, I don't think he died. If they only found his dental records, like,
if they like just a file, like they found his teeth.
Yeah, if they found his teeth.
Well, where, like
people could have their teeth removed.
Yeah, but
I mean, this is an extravagant, like,
apparently
disappearance. So, like, why?
Yeah, it's certainly possible, but yeah, no, it's possible.
Oh, so, I'm not saying I'm right, obviously. But
well, I mean, if they manage to do all of this, why not? They could certainly
they could do
fabricate
that.
teeth, right?
Yeah.
It's not out of the question.
Or they could be his real teeth.
Well, we'll find out, I guess. So, I think that's my summary, except for the end of the episode, where something big happens. Do you have anything else to add in terms of the summary of that episode?
No.
That's pretty much big what we learned in this episode.
Yeah, she goes to visit Limetown.
She does. She goes to visit Limetown.
And that's, I mean, yeah, without going into all the details of it, that's about it.
So, and then at the end of the episode, they are talking. She's yakking on the phone with her producer or editor, or somebody like that. Is his name Terry?
Well, he calls her. She's not like on the phone with him. He calls her and is frantic and says that he has a survivor on the line.
He has a survivor on the line, and then they talk with her. They don't really say anything of consequence really, but like she talks to a survivor of Limetown for like 20 seconds, and then they proceed to, oh my god, we gotta stop recording, and then that's the end of the episode. Which I thought was pretty exhilarating. I mean, obviously, like, what else are they gonna do other than communicate with people from Limetown in this thing? But like, when I was listening to it, I was driving in my car, and I was like, oh my god, like, I can't believe, like, after all this, like, it was just really real to me, and I was like, well, they finally talked to someone, even though it's like 27 minutes into the first episode.
When I listened to this episode, I was still not sure. I mean, it's the first one. I still wasn't sure if it was real or not. So that was kind of like. Oh, so you were on the edge of your seat. Yeah, I was thinking like, this is real. It's crazy, but
if it was real, it would be like out of control.
Yeah.
But so apparently they are out there. At least one of them is out there.
Yes.
Which would lead you to believe that there are others out there. And so the survivor calls Leah, and that's the end of the episode. We don't hear anything more past that.
Yep.
So I was going to jump into to me, the who's who, I have like a little who's who section here with like important characters or people that we're going to meet along the way. I think we should go through every episode. And so first we have Leah Haddock, who is the narrator and reporter for APR. I guess it's sort of an NPR-ish, type of fictional world. And she's the narrator, she's the reporter who's doing the story. And she has Emil Haddock, uncle. That's her title on time. Yeah. Then we got Dr. Oscar Totem, dead leader and researcher of Limetown, who appears to be the ringleader of the whole operation, but is also apparently dead.
This is silly, but he was burnt at the stake.
Uh-huh.
His name's Totem.
They did not do that.
I don't know.
I hope not.
Anyway.
Punny Kirsten, ladies and gentlemen.
You can cut that out.
No. And then, so it was the one thing we haven't mentioned so far. This guy, R.B. Villard. So this whole thing, this was not a like a public domain government-run NASA-ish type of operation. This was an enterprise. Like, R.B. Villard is a billionaire investor who bankrolled the entire Limetown operation.
He's a telecommunications titan.
He was a telecommunications titan, and so that in itself is sort of, I guess, maybe a little foreshadowing, because you got Dr. Oscar Totem, who was a master of the brain or the human mind. That's his area of expertise, and then you got this entrepreneur guy who's into telecommunications and communication stuff, and so he has an interest in whatever they're working on there, which we don't know what that is yet. But he disappeared after the Limetown tragedy. He's not it's not like his whereabouts are unknown, but he is shied from the public eye after he kind of made a fool of himself.
Well, I guess he didn't really make a fool of himself.
No, but he did say that thing like to Congress, like I don't know.
Well, he was just being elusive.
He wasn't giving them information. And then he was, you guys go down and handle it.
Yeah.
And that apparently after that he is no longer in. But he's got to come back, doesn't he? Like they go into all this information about him and like how he like bankrolled it and blah blah blah, and like we're not gonna hear anything about him in the future. I don't know. I feel like he's got to come back. He's got to be like a major player down the line.
So they like made a big like. There's 4 episodes out right now, and there's only 7.
You think they think they're gonna stick with it?
At least for I don't know if they're doing like seasons, but
yeah, no, it says Limetown season 1. There's a YouTube video that says Limetown season 1 trailer.
Yeah, then I think they'll stick with it. Yeah, seven episodes.
Dude, I can't. I need more. I can't do 7. Like 7 is not enough.
Well, I think they'll like. They like to hear that.
I don't want to hear that.
So maybe he'll come back, but I don't. I think they're just setting it up then.
Well, I don't know. I feel like he's important, and so I guess that'll segue into our valuable information section. Now that I'm reading this, I don't know what I was on.
What is in your valuable information?
My valuable information. So, jeez, here we go. All right, so Oscar Totem seems to be important.
He does seem to be important.
Well, like he's not really a main character, but he seems to be like the crux of it all. But
well, he to me he seems to be like the figurehead, but they like that's who they want you to focus on.
Maybe he's a totem.
Yes.
I wonder.
Like, I would. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I wonder that that's sort of what they're going for with that. That he's like sort of a red herring as well.
Yeah.
He's not really the focus of the whole thing.
Yeah, I think most of the people that they would put out in the public, I don't think are the. But
he does. At this point, at least, I mean, continuing on, he seems to be like a very important part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's a major focus. Yeah. The fact that everyone disappeared, but apparently they're all out there somewhere. Since we have a survivor.
Well.
Not all of them, but like some of them, most of them are out there somewhere. It's not. They didn't die. They didn't vanish.
One thing they did too in this episode is they did the little snippets of her talking to the family members and not saying who they were, and that everybody thought their family members were still alive. I mean, and like each one sort of kept saying that they were feeling like they could kind of feel the presence of their family member.
Oh.
And I thought that tied into the
telecommunication
same thing. Like maybe there's something else going.
That's an interesting idea. Well, we'll see. We'll see if that comes to bear in the future. But yeah, so and we have at least one survivor, one person who made it out alive. Yeah. And assumably more. Assumably that's probably one of many. No evidence left behind other than that Oscar was dead, and then he was burned alive. They were working on neuroscience and telecommunication stuff, but nobody seems to really know what. But we don't know that information yet. And the other thing that I don't know. Every time I listened to this at least 5 times so far, and for some reason this seems like it's important. I don't know why they mentioned it. I don't know if they were just trying to be like artsy about this part. But the dry rot is destroying the houses. I feel like that's important.
Significant.
Yeah. Like, so apparently, like, they didn't put the flashing or whatever on the gutters. And the dry rot's destroying the home. And he says something. Do you remember what he said?
Yeah. The quote that I have is, all these brilliant minds, all these geniuses of industry, the future this, the future that, and they didn't plan for the rain.
So at that point, I think that they are, like, it's supposed to be kind of, oh, they didn't plan for the rain. But I wonder if it wasn't intentional. Like, they knew that they weren't going to be there that long. Why spend, like, if you have that much money to burn,
yeah.
Why are you, like, but, like, let's say, I think they were there for, like, 9 months before they're out, right? You don't need to spend that money on that because it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to be done well before you need that, before that's going to come to be an issue for you.
Yeah.
Like, if everything else was so masterfully planned, I don't think that it was an oversight.
Well, and even when they said, the FBI guy who they talked to, said that there were like no traces of them. So they knew they were going, that, like, at least someone knew that they had to cover up everybody leaving. Because
there was a plan in place, right?
Yeah,
like
to
that had to
leave and leave no trace.
So yeah, but for some reason it seems like that's important. Like I don't know why the dry rot's important, but I feel like that's not just something that's Like in acting, there's like a word called like chuff, which is like just sort of filler material. I don't think that that's filler material. I think that that is important material. Like that's there for a reason. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. So that's really all I have in terms of the valuable information from this episode. I mean, the big thing obviously is the survivors calling. Like what is going to happen next with them.
Yeah.
But so I have a couple questions that I don't think you can answer, but these are my questions from the episode. Are the caves important? I feel like that's going to have to be answered this season. Like what happened with the caves?
Yeah.
Why was Oscar Totem specifically killed? Like why was he singled out and killed versus everybody else? And I actually we went through this, and so if you are in if you're really into Limetown, like we are, there's a Reddit board dedicated to Limetown, and they do transcripts of all the episodes. Is all the episodes or just the first one?
I only saw the first one, but
well, they have a transcript of it, and so I had a question here that said, why does R.B. Villard say the work of rail lore? I didn't know what that was when he's talking to Congress. He says the work of rail lore, and you actually figured out what it was, right?
That was his corporation.
That was his corporation. It's called Rail Lore.
Rail Lore Corporation or whatever.
Okay, because I was like that to me was very like paradoxical, like weird thing to say. But apparently that wasn't a weird thing for him to say because they mentioned that Rail Lore thing before.
Well, that and they also like when he was talking to Congress, they made a point to kind of say the Congresswoman was questioning why he said still believe.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts on that. I felt like that was significant that they pointed out that he said still believe.
Yeah, because I guess that maybe they're still working on it. Like, I mean, if they all got out of there for whatever reason.
Yeah, like the project's not over.
We'll see. So, I have one other piece of information that I would like to talk about, but I'm not sure if it's appropriate to talk about in this episode because it sort of ties into the next episode. So I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add about episode 1?
No.
No, you're good?
I'm good.
All right, so that's episode 1. We're gonna carry on here in 1 second with one other thing. So if you haven't listened to episode 2 yet, stop listening now, and we'll see you next time. Episode 2, Winona. All right, guys. So with that, I'm Eli.
We're stopping now?
No, we're gonna keep going. But if you haven't listened to episode 2 yet,
okay.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Kirsten.
Take care, guys. Stop listening now, and then listen to episode 2, and then come back and listen to this. All right. So, all right. This is a little preview.
Can you hear me shaking my head?
This is a little preview of Winona. So Winona is a survivor, right? Mm-hmm. And so they start yakking with her next episode. We don't really need to go on anything more than that. But Winona is not the person on the phone in this episode.
Well, in the transcript, it was just Leah and Terry, but
he's like,
it does not sound like
that
him.
moan of like, no, no,
yeah, it doesn't sound like him, and it was actually something that I thought they mentioned with Terry when he was going towards the stake that Oscar Totem was supposedly burned at, that he like his disposition kind of changed. And I thought maybe that was a little telling, like maybe he's not just another investigative reporter. Maybe he is also somebody with a specific job in Limetown. But I mean...
Well, there's actually a theory about that, which I don't want to... I'll spoil that episode 3 about Terry. A theory about Terry. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they just didn't get the same voice actor back. Maybe it's supposed to be the same person. But it is definitely not the same person. So I don't know what the segue is between... that person and Winona. Like maybe that person just gave the information for Winona and that's like their whole purpose.
Yeah.
But I was confused about that. So I'm not really sure what to make of it. Even 4 episodes in, I'm not sure what to make of that information. Like what the deal was with that. But
I kind of like to drop information and not follow up.
That seems to be a trend of Limetown. But yeah. All right, enough about that for now. So that's actually that's the real wrap up of episode 1. So I had a blast talking about episode 1. And I'm very excited to talk about episode 2 because I feel like that's really where it kicks off. Like a lot of exposition on this episode to just make you understand what's going on. And we're going to get into the real meat and potatoes of Limetown in the next episode. So, I don't know. Do you like episode 2 more than episode 1?
I feel like I liked episode 1 a lot because I wasn't sure whether or not it was true. And I know it's silly, but like when I thought it was true, I was like, holy crap, this is insane. And then, like, I definitely want to keep listening, but sort of the
fact that it's fiction.
The fact that it's fiction did like
detract a little
bit.
But like to me, like the episodes have been getting more and more interesting.
Well, they're still interesting, and I still think it's a really good story.
Like I'm in the tunnel.
But like when I was like, how could I have missed this happening? Like I felt stupid, and I also felt intrigued, and
yeah,
and
I can see that. I was listening to it, and I'm just like, there's no way this is real. Like there, like 327 people missing in America, and nobody knew about it.
I know. Well, I mean, like I wasn't listening like, oh my god, like this is real, and I totally missed it. I was listening and kind of being like, this sounds fake, but it also sounds like they're reporting it like it's real.
Very real. It's very realistic.
And then the last podcast I listened to was Serial, and it's very much like the way she reports is kind of...
It's the exact same thing. So you feel like you're in Serial land still.
So, yeah, I definitely thought, I was like, oh, this is like another Serial. And they found this story that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, so... I don't really have much to tack on to the end of that, but like I definitely agree.
Yeah. Well, I think if we're wrapping up, I think we should encourage people to comment their theories or any. If
anybody else has theories, because I mean we have some, but they're not very good.
Yeah, no, they're not good at all.
We have a Twitter, twitter.com/limetalkpod.
Yeah. And
we have a Facebook page. If you just go into Facebook and search Lime Talk, it's like the first thing that comes up.
Yep.
And so that's it. So
you can just comment on the YouTube video.
Oh, and these are on YouTube as well. So check it out. Comment, and we'll probably throw you.
If you like it, tell us if you don't like it, but try to make it constructive.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think that's a good rule on the internet, right?
I don't take criticism well.
Everybody abides by that on the internet, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, I think that is going to officially wrap up episode 1, What We Know. So, with that, I'm Eli.
And I'm Kirsten.
We'll see you next time with episode 2, What Know, guys. Take care.